Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Stacy. Today I'm going to go over The Dinner List by Rebecca Serle. He's never going to have his cycle. He's never going to experience. And I like this book. I really love that book, but I'm interested to see. I ain't gonna say they drugged for the family, but they were very fancy. But I will read this book, give it a chance and see. Kindle, I downloaded Very. So I have the first 3 books of those, which I do plan to read soon. I read The Dinner List in the month of December. I read it on December 22nd through December 29th. And this was a fiction hardback novel. I read it because a couple months back I did a paragraph challenge. And I read the first paragraph in a couple books. And they all were pretty short. And I was like, why haven't I read that book yet? So I went in my archive, which is my inventory. And I grabbed this book out. And I decided it was going to be one of the books that I took with me on vacation. So this book, it is a fiction novel. It was written in, let's see, what year was it written in? This book was written in 2018 by Rebecca Serle. Would I read it again? No, I wouldn't read this book again. Would I recommend this book? Yes, absolutely. Very quick, easy, slightly emotional, but not too sad type of novel because it deals with the deceased, like deaths and people that have gone before us. And it was very interesting because the characters and themes that resonated with me, it was this girl, she was in a relationship and it didn't go how she expected it to go. And they tried and tried and tried. It was Audrey Hepburn. And I'm going to get to the synopsis in a minute. But let me just go over like the hard facts and the data for this book that I would recommend it. Why I would recommend, or would I not recommend this book? So the characters that resonated with me, yes, they were very interesting in this book. Everybody had like a meaning or a place or a reason why they was placed into this book. The emotions that came back with me, it made me think about my grandparents who all passed, and also about celebrities that are dead or alive that I've never gotten a chance, because I'm a regular person. I don't just bump elbows with celebrities. And she got to. So this book, it was very reflective on like the concept of what would you say if you had like dinner with people that you loved, dead or alive, at one table. And that was the whole gist of this. In my opinion about the writing style, this is my 4th Rebecca Serle book. And I like it. I keep on reading her books because they're quaint. They're like very direct and to the point. This was only 275 pages. And she basically will tell a full story in details, but not too much, with a touch of magic in it. And a touch of tragic. So she is good with how she balances out the positives and the negatives in the story. So it just makes it like a comfortable read where it's not too lovey-dovey, but it's not too dark and it's not too sad. So that's why I gravitate towards books like this, because I don't want to make me feel so sad or in a slump or anything like that. And I'm just ready to read something else afterwards. Her writing style, I loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 writing styles. Readability, very easy to read. Probably like 4 out of 5, because some parts is like, okay, girl. Yeah. All right. Who is this person? Why is he here? Yeah. Readability, reflectability, I would say very reflective, 5 out of 5. Relatability, 5 out of 5. Personal impact, maybe like a 4 out of 5. The originality, 5 out of 5. The plot, 5 out of 5. And overall, well, what was my cup of tea, I love the concept of this book. And I read it last month. So I don't know why when I look back on book memory, I gave this book a 2. Something must have happened in the end that I was just like, okay, I don't remember. But it must have been something for me to give this book a 2 in the end. But that's not my rating. I gave this book a 4 out of 5, even though I'm not really like trying to judge it, like maybe 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. But what wasn't my cup of tea, I think the book just stopped. I don't know what it was, but the book had just stopped. So I'm going to read y'all the synopsis and the blurbs on the back of this book. It says, advanced praises for the dinner list. Imagine that you could gather with the people you love, dead or alive, at one table for one night with a chance to heal yourself once and for all. The Dinner List is a heartbreaking romantic book framed by such an evening in Cyril's unflinching investigation into the triumphs and failings of love that makes this book one of a kind. Like I said, with a touch of magic, a touch of tragic, and absolutely compelling from beginning to end. That's what someone said from the author of Bittersweet, Stephanie, Danler. I read The Dinner List in a single day. So that's another thing. You can read her books in one day. I don't know why this book took me from December 22nd through December 29th. You know why? Because I was traveling on a plane. I fell asleep. When I went on the cruise, I fell asleep. I kept falling asleep. Not because it was bad, but because I was so comfortable and relaxed. I could have read this in one day if I wanted to. But this is what Jennifer Close said. She said, I read The Dinner List in a single day, unable to tear myself away from this unconventional dinner party. Rebecca Serle draws you in with this clever, delightful story, and then when you least expect it, offers up some sharpness, insight on first love, friendships, and family. This book is completely original and wildly entertaining. I definitely agree with that. I agree with it. So the last blurb that she has on this book, it says, I have 5 words for Rebecca Serle, The Dinner List. Wistful, delicious, romantic, magical, and love. And that's what they say about her book. And you see the picture of the lady on this cover? That's it. You get what you get. Straight shots, no chasers. She goes straight to the point. What if the love of your life, a love you thought was over, showed up for dinner for one night? So that's what she says here in the synopsis area. Oh, look at her. I didn't even know what she looked like. And I think I probably did, but I forgot what she looks like. But I keep reading her books, so I like her. We've all played the game. Which 5 people, living or dead, would you have dinner with? But what if dinner was to actually happen? Sabrina Nielsen, that's the main character. She arrives at her 30th birthday dinner to meet her best friend. She finds at the table an unexpected guest. Amongst them, it is her favorite professor from college, Audrey Hepburn, and of course the best friend, her ex Tobias, and someone else. After almost a decade long love affair with Tobias, I like the name Tobias, Sabrina is at a crossroad much more significant than turning 30. The New York life she always anticipated for herself, and that was she worked hard for, doesn't appear to be in her future. Her best friend moved into motherhood, and her family might as well be strangers. And marriage is as far off as it has ever been. Yeah, so she was in a decade with this man. They were supposed to get married, and no. Okay. While the wine is poured, appetizers are served, and the dinner at table conversation begins, it becomes clear that there's a reason these 6 people have gathered. Rebecca Serle masterfully trace Sabrina and Tobias' relationship from their first meeting in college to navigating to treacherous tyrants in their 20s. The Dinner List grapples with the highs and lows of first loves and unexpected detours on the road to finding your own happily ever after. Sweet with just right amount of bitter. The dinner list is a triumph of imagination and romance for our time. Bon appetit. And Rebecca, she is a author and a television writer who splits her time between New York and Los Angeles. She most recently co-developed the hit TV adaptation of the young adult series Famous in Love, now on Freeform. Well, and this is Rebecca Serle. There she goes. Yeah. So that is what I have. This book, it had like 1 out of 5 spice. It was no spice in this book. Even though they talked about marriage and talked about motherhood. I appreciate that she gave different perspectives on people in motherhood. And she had a best friend that was very opinionated about her life and her lifestyle choices and like guilted her and then kind of got in her head too. So that was very interesting in this book. And also, when I was reading, it would go from like 9 o'clock to like 9 o'clock, it would say here. Then the next chapter, it'll say 9:23. It was like times. So they only had like, I think until midnight to figure everything out with their dinner. And we didn't know what was going to happen at midnight. And we didn't know why these people were here, but you got to ask and talk to them about whatever you wanted in this book. So I liked it. It was one of a kind, bittersweet. But my top 5 people that I would bring with me for one night, a dinner for one night. Let's see. Dead or Alive. So she had Audrey Hepburn, her best friend, her ex, and I forgot her 6. It was 6 people. Me, I would bring, okay, it's me. It will probably, who I want to talk to this day? Oprah Winfrey, she's alive. I would love to talk to Michael Jackson, because he's gone. I would like to talk to I don't know if I would pick my grandma or my grandpa. That's why I'm stuck. And I want to just talk to all of my grandparents. But I do want to. The thing is, I want to talk to all of my grandparents, but I can't choose. I don't know if I could choose which one that I would want to talk to. So, I don't know. That's a hard decision. My ex, I don't have nothing else to say to him. None of them. I don't want to talk to them no more. Blocked. Ain't no more talking. We finished and we're done. So no, we not talking back to none of them. That chapter is closed. Everything I wanted to know, I got closure from them. But I would say probably my grandpa. I would say my grandpa, because my grandma, she knew, like, we had longer time in the end with her. And then my other grandma too. We had longer time in the end with her. But him, it was like an illness, and it was like I had went to college and I moved away and I didn't really get enough time in the end with him. So probably my grandpa, Oprah, Michael Jackson. Friend wise, what friends would I want to bring with me? See, I talk to my friends. We meet up for dinner and stuff all the time. So I wouldn't pick them. Like, we always coordinate things. So that's 3. Barack Obama can come. Yeah, because him and my grandpa, they would have like banter with each other. And then I guess it would have to be my brother, my youngest brother. There you go. Him. It would have to be him, because he would like all those people and he would get a lot of information out of them that I wouldn't be able to get out of them. So it would have to be him. But that is all that I got, you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Happy New Year. This was the last book that I finished last year. Now, I started right after this. No reason at all. They both have lists. I don't know why they both have lists in it, but in the chapter, in the name, in the cover. But I started this right after on a cruise. So this was my next book that I read. And I'll go over that after the book club meeting, because it is my turn to host the book club meeting. And I picked this book, Why Choose When You Can Have Them All by Jade Presley. And let me tell y'all something. This book, what is Why Choose? I've never read, I'm not into like romantasy or fantasy, but that's one of my goals that I want to get into this year. So this had a content notice on it. And it says you're invited to the choosing where you could win the heart, not just of one prince, but four. And the content notice, it says, what is a why choose romance? Where we're glad you asked. Multiple partners, an open-minded heroine, super high heat. If that excites you, please look inside for more detailed content warnings. So they give you like a double warning. But look at this book. Look how nice this book is. Even though I'm not a fantasy, they always have the prettiest fantasy person. They always have the prettiest books. Nice quality books that sprayed edges. It's always just something good going with that book. And this is my book. So I didn't read it. I think I listened to, so I went to a book club event at the bookshop, and we did the Christmas exchange, and I told y'all I ended up going home with this book, storybook ending. And I'm happy with this book that I chose. You know, it was good. I didn't want to steal. I didn't want to exchange. I'm the only one who likes literary fiction, so I'm good with that pick. But when other people went, this was a book that was passed around, and it got stolen too many times, and one of my friends, she wanted it. And I have just bought this book from Book Outlet, and it came. You remember my package got lost, and this is one of the ones that actually came. And I was like, girl, that book just came in the mail, so I'll just give you that book whenever I'm done, and I'll probably make it my book club pick because it's my turn to choose, and I'll give it to you in February when I see her again at the next book club at the bookshop. She's like, okay, cool. So me and another book club member in my personal book club was like, I don't know what I want to pick. I don't know. I knew I was picking the bonus book to be the favorites because I've been seeing this book around, and it was gifted to me by my friend. And I was like, I'm going to make this the bonus book because this was my fall pick. And Kirsten, she told me to read this too. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give that a try. So we go. And one of my friends read this book. She's not a fantasy or dark romantasy book reader. She read this book in like less than 24 hours and was like done in the group chat. And I was like, what? So I decided to bring this with me on vacation. And I ended up doing it. But when I said at the Christmas book club meeting, I was like, okay, y'all, I was still on the fence on what I wanted to pick for the main book, but I just went with my instinct. And I was looking at the cover, and it says Why Choose. And my turn will be in the middle of Mardi Gras season. So it's Louisiana Mardi Gras. We are going to meet on February the 1st. And I was like, let's do it and have a masquerade ball themed around this book. So everybody's excited about that. So it's going to be themed with the mask. And then I start reading it. And I'm like, I didn't even know the lady was going to the ball with a mask and stuff. Like before I even opened up this book, I just looked at it and I was like, this is pretty. And then next thing you know, she is basically going to a mask event. And I'm like, oh, perfect. So randomly, we right on theme with our masquerade book club meeting. Yeah, so that is the next books that I'm gonna read. Well, I'm gonna go over review after my book club meeting. But that is all I got.